Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to day 2 of lesson 22. Today's work is representing data on a line plot. All week we're working with fractions and line plots. All right, so here we go. That's our target, our goal is using the line plots. Warm up with this one on your whiteboard or paper, whatever you have. The number of children in the families of 5 students is shown below. Make a line plot to represent the data. So push pause, give it a go, make a line plot, come back and see if ours are similar. All right, welcome back. So for a line plot, we need a line. For a line plot, we're going to need a label. So this is the story of the number of children. Okay, so I'm going to call this data number of children. I wish I would have wrote that a little bit smaller. I think what I will do is I will erase my line, move it up so I can put numbers underneath it. Okay, so number of children we have from 1. Now I want to put these kind of even distance apart. I only need a number from 1 to 4 because that's what we have. We don't have any 5s, 6s, or huge families, or even 0s for that matter. So I've got 1 to 3, so I'm going to cross the 3 out and put 1x because we have one family that's got 3 kids. Now I have 2 1s. I'm going to go ahead and cross out both of them and put 2 x's because there's 2 families that have 1 child each. Remember to try to make your x's about the same size. I'm sure you'll do better than me. 4 kids, there's 1 family, so each x represents a family. Okay, and x equals a family. Okay, and then the last one is 2. There's 1 there. Okay. All right, so most families in this data set, this information, have 1 child. All right, next. Make sense of the problem. So here's our 3 reads problem. First, we read for what is the problem. That's we can see that a little bit better. What is the problem? About 10 students in Mrs. Holbrook's class are growing plants. One day, they measure the heights of the plants in inches. The heights are shown below. Make a line plot to represent the data. So the problem is about plants. And then they measured some plants. And we have a whole bunch of different numbers. Next one is, what are you trying to find out? 10 students in Mrs. Holbrook's class are growing plants. One day they measure the heights of the plants in inches. The heights are shown below. Make a line plot to represent the data. I think we're just trying to make sense of the problem. We're just trying to build the line plot. It doesn't really ask much about it. The heights are shown below. Make a line plot. So I guess we're just doing this work of making the line plot. Okay, so we're trying to find out what the line plot of the data is. Number last one is what information is important. 10 students in Mrs. Holbrook's class are growing plants. One day they measure the heights of the plants in inches. The heights are shown below. Make a line plot to represent the data. I'm going to try to use the highlighter this time. So we got 10 students. That's important. That means we're going to have 10 x's on our line plot. Of course, all of the data is important. And then it's important that it is inches. So those parts look important. All right, here we go, making the line plot. So you're welcome to be ahead of me or with me. All right, let's see how this goes. There's my line. I'm going to switch to my marker. So we've got it, looks like 8ths is the smallest unit. It's easiest to go from the smallest unit because 1 and 4/8 is the same as 1 1/2. So I'm going to use eighths. My smallest number is going to be 1 and something. Looks like it's going to be 1 and 1/4. So I guess I will start my line plot at 1 inch. And I'm going to cut it into 8 parts because I'm going to do eighths. And my biggest is 2 5/8. So let's go 1, 2, and 3 inches. This is inches. All right, so make sure you label it because that does matter. All right, now I'm going to label the parts. So I think I might use a different color so it's easier to see. So I need 7 cuts between the 1 and the 2 to make 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty equal, not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, whew. I was nervous about that part. Now I'm going to label, and I think I might label with the text. It might go better. So this one right here would be 1, not 2, 1, 1, 8. It's going to be too big. Sorry about that. That's not going to work. I'm sure you are way ahead of me because this is going to be hard to do. 1 and 1/8, and that's 1 and 2/8, 1 and 3/8. And maybe I'll just do some of them. That's 1 and 4/8 or 1 1/2. Okay, that's the same thing. 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. I think I'll go ahead and put my X's in. I am going to try to type it in and then copy it. We'll see how it goes. So my first one is 2 1/2. So that's going to be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. It's going to go right there. I'm going to start my line plot right there. Okay. So I've got 1 at 2 1/2 or 2 4/8. And I need to cross that one off because I put that in. 1 7/8. I'm going to get another X. So 1 and 1/8, there's 1 and 4/8, 5/8, 6, 6, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So that's going to be right there. I'm going to put an X, type X, put it in the right spot. So you want those kind of level because these are equal, those two X's there. Okay, oh, I've got 2 of them. So 1 is done. I'm going to do the second one. So I need an X, 1 7/8. Put an X, put it in the right spot. You're going to be way faster than me because technology is slow with the line plots. Then I see that there's 2 more. I'm just going to go ahead and cross them off. It is so helpful if you cross these off when you go because it's so easy to leave a piece of data off. Okay, there's the third for 1 7/8, and then I have one more plant at 1. There we go. 4 of them are at 1 7/8. Now I've got 1 1/4, which is the same as 1 2/8. So I'm going to put it right here at 1 2/8. Line it up so it's at the first row of X's like the others. Okie dokie. Next, cross that off. 2 5/8. Okay, here's my 2 5/8. 1, let's see, I better move with the cursor. There's my 2. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. It goes right here. Click there, type X, make it the same level. One of those. Cross off 2 5/8. 2 1/8. There's 2, 2 1/8 because I have my line plot in 8ths. Put an X on 2 1/8. Line it up so they're all level. Super important. I'm glad I typed those. I think that's better than my other messy stuff. Okay. Oh, I got another 2 1/8. I see another one. I'm going to go ahead and do that one. Get my X. So there are 2 of the 2 1/8. 2 plants are exactly that height. All right, last one is 1 1/2, which is going to be 1 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, right there. Here's my 1 1/2, or 1 4/8, because it's equal. Come on, X. Move. Move. There you go. Whew. I always like to double check. Okay, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plants. So I should have 10 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got all of the plants. So this is, title of this line plot could be something like heights of plants. And this is H's class or something. All right, cool beans. We got it. Oh, this is probably where we're supposed to solve it. That's okay. So I solved mine on the other one where we were trying to figure out what the problem is about. Number lines, grid paper, fraction models. You really are gonna, to do a line plot, you need to use the number line. Grid paper might help you if you have that or want to print some out. But pretty much the way we did it is the way that's going to work for line plots. Some people will do maybe like a tally chart at first, but if you're going to do a line plot, you'll need to do what we did. Do you agree or disagree? Sometimes people will agree or disagree on how you label it. It's easiest to go to the smallest unit. So that one was in eighths. So we did eighths because some of them were that measured. So go to the smallest unit. The other thing that you can do is you don't have to put all of the numbers. Like if your range of data is between 30 and 40, you don't need to put numbers 1 through 29. You can just start your numbers where your data starts. Compare class strategies. Okay, so this is where if we were in class, we would see if we did it differently. You might have a different way of organizing it. Some people like to do, maybe you want to count up your data first and you want to go, okay, how many of those do I have? I've got 1. And then maybe you want to go 1 7/8. You might do something like, okay, I've got 1 7/8, and then you just tally. I've got 4 of those, 2 1/2. So you might do a tally chart. Some people do that to help get their data organized. You definitely want to double check. If you've got 10 plants, you should have 10 X's. All right. And you definitely want to make sure that whatever you use for the increment, they're equal spaces, because that matters. Okay. You can represent data values that are mixed numbers on a line plot. So remember, mixed numbers have whole number and fraction. Right. The number line is divided into eighths from 1 to 3. So it's kind of like what we just did. So it's much prettier than mine. But there we go. We have 1, 1 1/8, 2, 1 2/8, 1 3/8, 1 4/8, 1 5/8, 1 6/8, 1 7/8, and 1 8/8 will be 2. The first 3 data values of 2 1/2, right there, 1 7/8, right here, and 1 7/8 are represented with an X. So this is just showing us, let's see, height in inches, plant heights. It's pretty much how we did it. So we kind of agree with this strategy. Set yourself up with a nice equivalent number line, little chunks there, and then measure them. You could put the numbers here, 2 1/2. Notice how they didn't put all of the numbers. They put 1, 2, and 3. You don't have to always label each part, but it does need to equal equivalently correctly. Now this one does label each number. You can represent data values that are mixed numbers on a line plot with the number line divided into eighths and labeled. So this one has it all labeled. So both are correct. It's definitely helpful to label these ones because that's where the plant height is. So that's helpful. Each tick mark on the line plot is labeled. The labels help you locate where to put the X's. Okay, so that one has more labels than the one before. Okay, on page 469, Make connections and explain your thinking. Look at the model. The modelets. Why do the number lines go from 1 to 3? Why are the number lines divided into 8s? Kind of like what we talked about already. We don't need to go up to number 10. We don't even have any plants close to that. Okay, so why do we go from 1 to 3? 1 to 3 includes our data points. Yeah, that's kind of our range. Yeah, you could even have done by maybe 1.5 to 2.5, but it's nice to have whole numbers. And why do we divide it into 8s? I think you know this. Yes, we divide it into 8s because 8s are the smallest unit in our data set. Okay, so our data set is just our numbers. And one of our plants had 1 7/8, so that's why we do 8s. Otherwise, if it was all halves, we would just have done halves. That's how it would go. So let me plug my computer in before it dies. That would be awful. So if I went dark, that is why. Computer plugging in now. And power. Okay, sorry about that. Forgot to check my power source. All right, number next. Why are there 2 X's above the tick mark? So you know this one. I'm sure you already did this. So I'll plug it in. Right. There are 2 plants at 1 and whoopsies, 1 and 7/8 inches. Each X equals the item. And in this case, it's plants. And for some reason, we can't really move stuff. Plot the remaining data value to complete the line plot below. So, describe how to line plot with data that includes fractions. And you're just going to describe what we just did. I'm not. So plot the remaining. So you'll need to go back and get the numbers on the other page. So this is just plotting the same thing we had. So we had 1x. I gotta go put x here. And that's too big. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, I think I'm gonna let you finish that. It's the same thing like before. It just did all of the setup for you. Okay, so plot the other plants and your data on page 468 and 467 actually. Describe how to make line plot with data that includes fractions. Well, you just did that. That's an easy one for you. Okay. To make a line plot with data that includes fractions, you okay. How do you do that? Make sure you mark equal spaces for the fractions. Okay. For example, if you're doing for example, if you are doing the 8s like we just did, mark mark 8 equal pieces. But remember how you get to get 8 equal pieces, you use 7 cuts, 7 lines to get that. Okay. The important thing there is you want equal spaces, and the other important thing is labeling helps. All right. So that's how you do that. Reflect. Look back at your try it strategies by classmates and the model it. Which model or strategies do you like best? So the only really difference we saw were how much you label, because you pretty much really, you need to have the line You need to have the labeled so you can understand it. So which models? Let's put down. You definitely need to have labels. You need to have the line. You need to use X's the same size. Let's just do a bullet list here. You have something different. You can do different. I'm going to do a bullet style. All right, that one looks cool. So you got to have labels. You got to have the line for a line plot. That pretty obvious. Use X's the same size. Do equal fractions. Equal markings within fourths. You have fourths. It's eighths and you have eighths. You want to, when you do, so you want to analyze your data and use the smallest fraction as your interval. Okay, so count by eighths if eighths is the smallest. Count by fourths if fourths is the smallest. Whatever your smallest part is, count by that part. You also need a title. This is a pretty darn good list, so I hope you have all this down. Title, I would like a bullet there, so I'm going to click in front of that, go to my bullets and add a bullet. Okay, formatting is off. Click here and go to bullets. Beautiful. All right, so put all those things on your paper on page 469. The data below shows the length of leaves in inches that Jill collects. Complete the line plot to display the data. Awesome, I have it set up for us. They did fourths because fourths is the smallest, right? And fourths is smaller than halves. That's why they didn't count by halves. They counted by fourths. So our first one is 2 1/2. I will try to draw my X's today. We'll see how we do. Okay, so we've got 2 1/2. We got 1, 2, 3 of those. I count 3. So under 2 1/2, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 of the same size X's, kind of, sort of. All right, then I got a 2 1/4, 1. Is that all? Yep. 2 1/4, 1x, same size. 2 3/4, 1. 3 1/2, 1. And 3 3. 1 and done. Yay! So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 X's, and I should have 8 numbers. I'm going to double check with a different color. 1, 2, that's messy. I'm going to erase big. Okay, let me double check. I always like to double check. Did I get all the leaves? Because you don't want to miss it for something simple like counting how many leaves you have. One, and use a marker. Marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It's a lot like a test question. You have to make a line plot. All right. I'll record the length of some fish in inches. Make a line plot of the data. All right. For a line plot, you need a line. For a line plot, you need a label. So this is going to be inches. I'll type that one in down here so maybe you can actually read it. All right. The title will be length of fish. Now, what am I going to count by? Looks like 8. And it looks like the smallest is 9 something. 9 and 2 8. So it's between 9 and then 11. So let's go from 9 and 11, and we're counting in 8s. So I'm going to put 9 way over here. 10, 11. So those hops between, they need to be similar. 9 and 10, 10, 11. Okay, now, I have to cut it into 8s. I'm going to try black. So I need 7 cuts to do 8s. The best that I can to make them equal. Let's see how we do with my math finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not exactly perfect, but yeah, good enough for right now. Now I'm going to try to label some more because I have my finger is kind of big. I'm not going to label all of them. Let me get to 9.5. So that's going to be 4/8. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. Right here, I'm going to put 9.5. Same thing for 10. I'm going to go 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. That's my 10 and 1.5. Because that kind of will anchor me. If I were you, I would label them all. But my technology makes it a little messy. Okay, so first one, 9 and 2/8. Dun, dun, dun. Let me cross it off. Oh, I probably should put 1/8, 2/8. So it doesn't go here, doesn't go on top of this one, it goes on top of this one because that's the 2/8. It goes right there. And I'm going to go to a lovely X and place it right here. X marks the spot for 9 and 2/8. Kind of want a bigger one, being picky now, but just to make my chart look a little better. Yeah, this looks better. Okay, let's see how that goes. All right, next one is, all right, I guess I can just go ahead and do 10 and 4/8. Do we have any more 10 and 4/8? I don't see any. 10 and 4/8 is going to be, here's the 10, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. It's got to go right above there, same as 1 and 1/2. And I need my X, hopefully it does the right size. Good, same size. Try to keep it level. Okay, so I've got one there. Now I need 10 and 5/8. It's going to be right next door, right here. X, line it up level. 10 and 5/8. Be right there. And cross off that one. Whoops, didn't cross it off very good. 9 and 6/8. So here is 9, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. It goes right there. Dun, dun, dun. They're probably ahead of me because I think this is slower with the technology. Move up. I noticed this one wasn't very level. See how that's kind of, you do kind of want them level. So do the best you can to make them level. Probably way better than me. 4 have been placed. So do I have 4 crossed off? 1, 2. Okay, and cross. Oh, yeah, cross that one. Yep. Okay. Messy. So I've got, my goodness, 9 and 7/8. Okay, there's a 9, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. Right there. Get my X right here. 9 and 8/8 would be 10, but I don't have 10. One right there. Okay. Whoops. That's really what I should probably use. 9 and 7/8. Now I've got a 10. That's easy peasy. Goes on the 10. I do notice all my X's are very level. So you make yours better than mine. They should all be the same level. There's my 10. Mark off the 10. Now I'm going to do 10 and 1/8. Okay, here's my 10. Oh, that's my 10 and a half. Almost tricked myself. 10. 10 and 1/8 is right next door. I don't really want to do the same thing. That's funny. X. And move it right there. Okay. Marker 10 and 1/8. 2 more. 9 and 6/8. So there's 9 and 4/8. 5/8, 6/8. This is just a whole bunch of 1. There's not any doubles I don't see. X. Move it to the spot. They should all be level. In theory, they are. Just pretend with me. I'm sure yours is prettier. Number last one is 10 and 3/8. Here's 10, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Yeah, all of them are just, they're different heights, all of them. Oops, don't want that. That's weird. Click. X and move it. Okay, length of fish in inches. There we go. A whole bunch of different fish, all different lengths. Very interesting. Remember, next one. The lengths in feet of some pieces of wood are shown below. Fix the line plot at the right to correctly show the data. All right, what do we got? Something's wrong with this little line plot over here. I'm just going to mark on it, I think. Okay, I see that it says 1 there, and there's 1x. 1 1/2. 1, 2 of them. Yes, yes. 2 2s. Yes, and yes. 1 3/4. Well, know-it-alls, you probably already did this. That's very easy to add 1x. That x is too big. Dun dun. Undo. Annoying. So make it a little x. Same size. Put it on 1 3/4. That is easier than our last one. Probably, what do you think? Size 24? Let's try that. X. Yeah, still a little big, but it's better. Right there. Cool beans. All right. So now you're going to do page 471 and 472 on your own. You might want to use a straight edge to get all your lines straight and kind of even. That looks like probably the trickiest. At least it was for me with the technology. All right, mathematicians. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.